What if every breath you take was slowly making you sick? Every second, irreversibly, for your life. Because for millions around the world, that's not a dystopian warning, that's just life. In November 2024, PM 2.5 levels in the city hit 500 Ma, the maximum measurable level. That's 19 times. India's national standard and a shocking 74 times, higher than the World Health Organization's safe limits. These fine particles are deadly. They bypass the lungs, enter your bloodstream, and attack the heart, brain, and immune system. Children and the elderly face the worst of it. But this crisis doesn't end in the air. Beneath the surface, Delhi's waters tell a darker story. Delhi's water systems are collapsing under the weight of neglect. The city faces our severe water contamination with toxic runoff from factories, untreated sewage, and unregulated chemical waste making their way directly into rivers, lakes, and groundwater. And on land, soil pollution from industrial dumping, construction debris, electronic waste, and single-use plastic silently seeps into crops, contaminates the food chain, and destabilizes ecosystems. But how did it get this bad? There isn't just one reason. It's a dangerous mix of rapid urbanization, unchecked industrial growth, and weak environmental regulations. Outdated fuel-guzzling vehicles choke the streets. Construction dust clouds the skyline. Agricultural burning from neighboring states sends thick smoke drifting into the city every winter. Factories release toxins into the air, soil, and water, often with zero consequences. And then there's plastic everywhere, from single-use packaging to massive landfill sites on Delhi's outskirts. Plastic waste clogs drains, contaminates water bodies, and breaks down into microplastics that end up in the food we eat and, ultimately, our bloodstream. Add to this the city's geographical disadvantage, landlocked with low wind movement, and you've got a deadly cocktail of pollutants trapped in the air. People breathe, the water they drink, and the land they live on. But is that the full picture? It's easy to blame policy, or industry, or nature. But the truth is, communities play a role too. Lack of public awareness, indifference towards sustainable living, open garbage burning, and everyday use of non-recyclables all feed into the same toxic system. We often wait for the government to act, but real change begins with individual accountability. Because when people normalize burning waste, dumping sewage, or relying on single-use plastic, the city absorbs the cost in its air, water, and land, and eventually in the bodies of the very people living there. This is not just an infrastructure problem, it's a collective behavior problem. And unless that changes, no amount of policy will be enough. On the other hand, places like Australia, New Zealand, and Estonia met WHO air quality standards and live with the least overall pollution. How did they do it? They keep the environment at the center of their policy. Looking closely, these are the countries with stronger environmental laws, cleaner energy, public awareness. So can this be fixed? Absolutely. The best thing about pollution, whether it's in our air, water, or soil, is that it's man-made, which means it can be undone, but not by waiting for someone else to act. We need to invest in renewable energy, improve public transport, regulate industrial emissions more strictly, and push for cleaner, sustainable agricultural practices. And most importantly, reduce our waste, especially single-use plastics. We have one Earth, it's all connected, one way or another, and it's all in crisis. Pollution doesn't recognize borders, and neither should the solutions. This is a world global challenge, but it needs local action and not community ownership. But always remember, fixing the planet isn't someone else's job. It's all of ours. And we need to work together towards a cleaner, healthier future. If this helped you see the air around you a little differently, like, share, and subscribe to EcoCreds. We cover the stories the planet can't tell you itself.